right, you heard it. It is time to get cracking. It is the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Development Bi-Weekly Call. Today is November 7th. I am your host, David Warner from Acquisitive with the rest of the community team, and we are so excited to have you all here. Why, you might ask? Well, we've got an amazing agenda in store for everyone today. We're going to get the latest updates on the community, things like PnP.NET libraries and PowerShell. We're going to talk about script samples, Copilot Pro Dev samples, Power Platform samples, so many amazing samples. We're going to have our famous and fantastic together mode, so get those cameras ready. And then we've got 3 first-time presenters on our community call. That's right, 3! Woo! Yes, woo! We can't wait to see all of our presenters. Stephan is going to kick it off with creating a graph client for your own API. That's going to be awesome. Suparna is going to talk about automated testing with Power Platform pipelines. That's my 3 favorite P's. And then Sean, he's going to round it out with how to build an auto email responder using Power Automate and Azure AI Studio. And if you're a fan of Chef from the Muppets, stay tuned. It's going to be awesome. But first, let's talk about some resources that are available to each and every one of you in the community for the low, low price of $0. That's right. We in the community love everything that you are doing, and we have compiled an amazing collection of resources that you all are part of. So it starts with our community learning videos on YouTube. So many videos, calls like this are hosted there, are recorded there, are stored there. The demos are broken out. Other videos from Microsoft and the community are there. So it's a great opportunity to learn if you're a big fan of videos. If you want to collaborate, guess what? We got that too. LinkedIn group for discussions that is open to everyone in the community. So please go join that group and get involved with the community. We've got our open source tooling and projects, things like CLI for Microsoft 365, PnP.js, and of course, as I mentioned, those community samples made by all of our amazing contributors like folks like you, which are available to each and every one of you. So things like team samples, SPFX, web parts, stuff like that. So please don't hesitate. We'll talk about more of those today. All you got to do is remember one URL, and that is ak.ms/community/home, and that will give you access to all this goodness. Now, you're on this call because, well, we hope you like community calls, and it didn't happen by accident, but we got more for you. The Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Microsoft Speakers call. That means you're going to hear it directly from what? The horse's mouth. That's right. Those program managers and platform managers and program product managers, they're all going to be there to share amazing things that they're doing inside of the mothership that you can get a glimpse of and be part of. So go join those calls. We've also got our monthly Power Platform, our monthly Office add-ins, and our bi-weekly Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community, which you're on right now, and the Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework call, which I was trying to combine bi-weekly and Viva, I guess. So the Viva Connections, that happens on Thursdays as well. Those two flip-flop. They are siblings. So every Thursday, no matter what's going on, we will be here for you with a call. Yes, that means that in just a couple of weeks, we are going to have a call on Thanksgiving, the American holiday. So be here, everybody. It's going to be an awesome opportunity to continue to collaborate. Get invites for all these at ak.ms/community/calls. Get them on your calendar. Don't miss them. And a preview of that next one on Tuesday, this coming up 12th of November, John Miller is going to be talking about level setting, some things. So an introduction to Microsoft Teams Toolkit. If you've been hearing all about it and you're like, what is that? Show up, John will show you. And then Paolo Pialorsi, our favorite Italian, is going to be back talking about creating Viva Connections bot-powered aces with Teams Toolkit. So it's a great opportunity to kind of level set on some of those powerful technologies that you've been hearing all about. And as you're watching today, you may think, hey, cool, I love these demos. And you know what? I think I have a demo that people might love too. I guarantee they will. So if you've got something that you would like to share, please don't hesitate to let us know. Everyone is welcome. Don't feel overwhelmed with thinking that it needs to be what makes time travel possible. Great Scott, doesn't need to be a flux capacitor. Could be a cool utility, a cool demo, some fantastic thing that you learned recently that you want to share. I guarantee someone will benefit from it. So submit this form, and if you want to buddy, you've never done it, and you want to buddy up with someone from the team, we'll handle that too. Just let us know. We'll take care of you. So please don't hesitate to get involved there. And if you're starting to see other things like samples or other opportunities to contribute to the community, and you're like, but I want to, I just don't understand this GitHub or all these other things that are being used. How do I get involved? Well, Sharing is Caring is our program that provides that hands-on guidance. And we've got a session scheduled for Monday, November 25th. It's on contributing via GitHub to the samples and using those samples. So get involved. It is free to join. It is live. It is hands-on, and it is a safe space, which means we don't record it. We which empowers you to ask any and all questions without the fear of it going on record, because we know sometimes folks get overwhelmed or intimidated, like, should everybody already know the answer to the question? Nobody else is asking it. But guess what? We all learn from somewhere, and that is the beginning. So come join. Let's contribute together, and it counts as an actual contribution, which means that, hey, if you are in the community recognition program, which is also free, by the way, you will get recognized for the amazing work that you're doing. And that includes cool badges like these. We just finished up the Promptober and Hacktober month. So big thank you to all of you that contributed during that month and got those badges. I was just processing more yesterday, so be on the lookout for those. But we've got more. Refresh Rangers is coming back again soon in a month or two on another repo. We've got our SPFX toolkit, and hey, we're into November and December, so guess what? That's the slice of samples and season of getting season. So get involved. It is absolutely free. We cover the cost for you. There is no cost. We just need you to opt in to the program so that we can track the work you're doing in GitHub and make sure you are provided these badges. And remember, folks, these are real and accredited badges. Some of them are cute and fun, and they're interactive, but they show that you're making a difference in the community, and that's important to your clients and your bosses. So wear them proudly and get involved. All right, let's move into some project-specific updates. The first is our Copilot prompts repo. This is a very easy and cool way to contribute to the community. Everybody's got prompts that they've been learning. Everybody's becoming, prompt engineers and super experienced with how to properly interact with Copilot and AI. We've all got little things that we've learned. Share it with the world. This is a wonderful way to do that, and it's a great entry point into contributing. And of course, we've got our prompt of the week by Mohammed. So he built his prompt is on build a dashboard summarizing the top 5 tasks of the day, their status, and any blockers preventing completion. Include upcoming deadlines for the week. So hey, it's a great way to kind of keep in order if you have trouble trying to summarize everything that you've got on your plate. So Mohammed, excellent job. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's move into the PNP.NET libraries, and Vess is going to be guest appearing for that in place of Bert this week.
Wait, who? Me? Where? Ha!
So,
PNP.NET libraries, not too much changes here since 2 weeks ago. We have 3.4 million downloads on the PNP framework. That's the older version of all of this reusable stuff. And the version 17 is the latest. And the PNP Core SDK is the wrapper on Graph and CSAM and SharePoint REST API is kind of an abstraction layer on all of that complexity on which API to hit. That is now in 4.3 million downloads. Millions, almost the same thing. But not a significant amount of changes there within the last 2 weeks. We are looking, of course, additional scenarios. If something is missing, do let us know. We do have 117,000 tenants in October 2024, which we're using that component, which is absolutely mind-boggling. Let's go to the following slide. And then in here, PNP PowerShell, Gautam could not make it today as well. This is built on top of the PNP Core SDK, so using obviously Graph and SharePoint REST APIs, CSAM APIs, all of that behind the scenes. A lot of changes here as well. V3 coming soon on here, 34 million downloads altogether, and 140 million command lines executed per day, which is mind-boggling. Stefan is asking about the charts on the right side. They are pretty small, we get that, but those are basically showing the month-by-month growth on the usage. Right now, this actually wasn't updated with October, but in September, we had more than 50,000 tenants using PNP PowerShell, generating more than 50 billion requests. Not that the more requests is a good thing, less requests is always better. But again, it's a massively used PowerShell module as well worldwide. But that's a quick update in here. Both of these are looking, and all of these three are looking, obviously always feedback on what we should be improving or adding as new scenarios in. Please let us know.
Awesome. Thank you, Vesa. Now let's move on to script samples with the one and only Mr. Paul Bullock.
Thank you, Mr. Warner. So script samples is a repository where you can share your PowerShell scripts with the community. And this could be Microsoft Graph, SDK PowerShell scripts, PNP PowerShell, SPA Management Shell, CLI for M365. There's really no limit. there's just a filter set up. So if there is a tooling you want to support or you've got a sample for and it's not on the site, then reach out, submit an issue, and I'm more than happy to bake that in to the site. So there is also, these samples are integrated into the solution sample gallery as well, so they're exposed there, so you get like extra coverage there. And we've got some new sparkly new samples. So we've got 2 new scenarios for PnP PowerShell from Reshmi Akalu. She's been on a script run as you see on the screen. So thank you for that. So she's written 2 scripts, 2 new ones for preventing guests or being added to specific M365 group or Microsoft Teams team, and then you got auto renew of expiring groups or teams as well. And she's also updated a couple more samples to get site sharing settings and get a tenant ID, which is super cool. I've also been playing with the site myself, so I'm building in a new like a new view where you can see the samples in a larger grid, perhaps without the imagery, so you can scroll through a bit faster, perhaps the page loads a bit faster. So I am looking at doing some improvements, as you can see on the on the preview bit there. So if you like it, I'm very tempted to switch it out at some point to be the main view. If you've got any objections to that, then please reach out to me, but otherwise I'll do that. But if you do have anything you do want to contribute to the site, I'm more than happy to support you. My handle is PK Bullock on most of my social media, so LinkedIn, X, Blue Sky. We've recently started setting up as well, so we support those social media channels. But reach out and I'll support you on that. And we've got a badge as well, so submit and you get a badge. Make sure you're opt in, and then you'll get one of those. So thank you very much for all your contributions. This is super awesome. And back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. And Paul even responds to smoke signals and carrier pigeons. I sent one off the other day, and he sent a little note back saying, thanks, David. So, hey, there you go. Thanks, Paul. Great job. The new site looks great. So definitely good job. All right, Mr. Bob German, Bob the Builder is out today, but we still wanted to remind everybody that there is opportunity for Copilot Pro Dev samples. We've got tons of really cool samples. These are some of the newest declarative agents by our wonderful community contributors, Eric, Rabia, Christino. So definitely get involved. Bob is also another wonderful maintainer and very welcoming and open. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to hit him up and get his help. And we also have a milestone. Woohoo! Yeah, this is a milestone. 50 samples. Kate's here to tell us more. Kate?
Yes, we have a fantastic news to share that we just hit this major milestone with 50 samples available in the Power Platform Sample Solutions gallery. So a massive thank you to each and every one of you for your support, for your contributions. This achievement is because of you. Our 50th sample came from James Williams, who created a color picker application. It's a super handy tool that lets you work with colors in hex along with all its parameters. So it's built as a component, so you can easily embed it into your own applications. Huge thanks to James for this brilliant sample. And remember, all our samples in the gallery are completely free and unmanaged, so you can simply download and use them as you like. And hey, you can be a contributor as well. If you are ready to share your own work, just follow the link that you can see on this slide, review our contribution guidelines, and submit your pull request. Also, you can join the sharing is caring sessions or even reach out to me directly, and I will be more than happy to guide you and help you to get your code submission ready. So yes, that's all for today. Congratulations once again, and thank you to all of you. Let's keep growing together and work towards our next big milestone, 100 samples. Yes, back to you, David.
Awesome work, Kate, and congratulations, James. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Well, what time is it? It is picture time. So we've already got Together Mode loaded up. I will move it here onto the screen, and we can give everybody a moment or two to turn on their cameras. Getting some turned on there. I see Todd is smiling. Excellent. Awesome. Seeing some familiar, fantastic faces. Looking good. I see Kate and Isabel. See our look at that. Our presenters are all sitting right next to one another. How nice. How nice of you. Wasn't it all random by teams? Not at all. No, we planned it all. All right. Couple more. I see Zhao. All right. Todd just punched someone through their hand. I don't know how he did that. That was amazing. All right. Let's give it just one more second. And just the best is showing up. Okay, good, good, good. All right, let's get the, there we go. And all right. Let's wave to the community, everybody. Looking great, looking fantastic. Great to see you all. Thank you so much for the amazing contributions that you make and everything you bring with passion and love and heart each and every day. All right. Looking good. Excellent stuff, everybody. Okay, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program here. And we would like to, again, introduce 3 amazing first-time presenters on our community call. So we're going to start with Stephan, who's going to talk about create a graph client for your own API. So if you'd like to take over the screen share, Stephan, the floor is yours.
Let's first turn on my mic. That will help, probably. You can see my screen, if I'm correct?
Yep. Yes, I can. It's loaded. Looks great. Take it away.
So I'm Stephan van Rooij. Doesn't really matter what I do. It's not about who I am. It's about what I have to show you. And that is creating a graph client for your own API. So what Microsoft does is they make a specification of their API, like I'm going to show you in a second. And then they use Kiota to generate their graph client. So if you are used to working with a graph client in C# or in Python or in Java, it is generated with Kiota. Kiota is also open source by Microsoft, and that is what I will be showing you today. So I built an API just for this. You can add users and specify what your favorite animal is. And I generated the client for it. And in the end, I'll be showing how to use the client to get data from this API. So I built an API. Here is the link to the source. I think David will put it in the chat in a second, or I will do it. It has Swagger UI enabled. So that looks like this. Here you could actually download the specification of my API. You can get users, and if nobody broke it yet, it should reply with 2 users. Feel free to add your own. There's no protection, but don't mess up my demo, please. So I'm going to show how you can generate a client for this API. In the previous slide, I showed you the URL. That was https://mydomain.io/swagger blah blah. It was in previous slide. This URL is what you need to generate a client. Then it's just called Kiota. I want to generate a C# client in this case. This is the class that my client will be called. It should be in this namespace, and it should be in this directory. So how will that look if we execute this command? I'm going to scroll up a little bit because it happened so fast. So I execute Kiota generate language C#. I want this file, this namespace. Here's the definition. Put it in the generated folder. Oh yeah, and I want to clean the output folder because I wanted to regenerate it. So let's see what this did then. It generated my API client. In the graph case, this would be called graph service client. But if you check the source in the C# version, it's just a base request builder in the end. It has users. It also has the default endpoint to get weather. This is all generated. You don't have to look at it. It's all done for you. What happens next? Okay, now we have this API and we want to actually call the API. I made a console app. It will write hello world, it sets up the base URI of my API. It creates an HTTP client, sets the base address, and then it calls HTTP client getString async users. So this will call the user's endpoint, and it will then put it in the console. That's my output. But as you can see here, you still have to parse it because this is JSON and you cannot work with this automatically. But we also generated a client. So I changed it up a little bit. I still have the base URI. I still have the HTTP client. With this HTTP client, I now create a my API client, which is the file that I generated. As I said, there's no protection, but you can inject any other authentication provider you like. I set up the HTTP client, and then I can call var users is HTTP client users get async, and it will actually parse it. And don't believe me just yet. I will start the app. Hopefully that works. Oh, wait, I did not save it. Overwrite, sorry. Let's start the app again. And we now have the users as a strong type object, and I see someone deleted the user, so that's someone who wants to be funny. It shows the email, it shows the favorite animal, and it shows the name. And as you can see, it's all parsed in strong type objects. I did not create any models for this. I just created specs, and I told Kiota, give me a client. If you work with this API client, yeah, you can see it feels and works exactly the same as the graph client would. So if you're used to working with a graph client, this will make your developers do less context switching. So we have the users here. Let's say I want an extra user. So let's see, extra user is await API client dot users dot post async new user name. Oh, let's add myself back because, yeah, I was deleted and I don't want that. If I now execute this, there will be 2 users if no one deleted the other user, or something got wrong because I forgot a mandatory parameter. You can zoom in further what the issue is and what you would need from this. But yeah, I just wanted to show this works exactly the same as the graph client. You can also generate this at build. If you're in a C# project, you have to add some stuff to your project file. I'm not going into that deep at this subject because then we're talking in half an hour. Here's a summary. You can use Kiota to generate a client for your API, and it looks the same as a Graph SDK. And you can contact me on these URLs, and I think I still have like 20 seconds for questions. So if anybody has a question, feel free to ask.
Yeah, awesome stuff, Stephen. We'll have the questions in the chat, so definitely take a look there. Amazing stuff. You did it super fast but super efficiently, and this is really cool. The links for his GitHub and the Swagger is in the chat as well. Everybody will include it in the show notes if you want to take a look afterwards. But Stephan, very awesome stuff. Thank you for joining the call and sharing that with everybody. Really cool and slick. Appreciate all the effort there. So awesome stuff. Okay, let's move on to Suparna, who is going to talk about automated testing with Power Platform pipelines. I feel like we should have some sort of Super Mario theme going on here with the sound, right? Oh, there we go. Take it away. You're muted, Suparna.
Okay, I'm so excited about presenting in this call for the first time. I forgot to unmute myself. So, yeah, so let me start by introducing myself. I am Suparna Banerjee. I'm a cloud solution architect at Microsoft UK. And if you want to connect with me, here are all my social media profiles, LinkedIn, GitHub, and X. And I work in the Power Platform area. And in today's session, I am going to talk about integration between two automated testing tools of Power Platform. The first one is the Canvas App Test Studio, and the second one is the Power Platform pipelines. So as we know, when we are doing the deployment of the Power Platform solutions from one environment to another, it is better to go with the automated deployment approach with the Power Platform pipeline the in-product tool provides us. And before moving the solution, it is always advisable to complete your testing. Now, if we are doing this testing in a manual way, it takes time and effort. So if we go for the automated testing, it makes our life easier, the life of the developers easier. So for this automated testing in Canvas app, we have the Canvas app test studio that allows you to record your test cases and play it back. So if we want to combine these two automated tools together, Power Platform Pipeline and Test Studio, natively that option is not available. But I am going to show you how you can integrate this together. So when we are deploying it from my development to test environment using the Power Platform Pipeline, in between, if we can push the automated testing process, and based on the result of the automated testing, the deployment will move forward or not, that will be decided. So let me start with the demo of the Canvas App Test Studio. Here for this demo purpose, I have built an app. This is for submitting a travel request. And as you can see, I have multiple fields. And here I am going to validate two test cases. The first test case is a date validation, where I am validating if the return date is greater than the departure date. And if that is not true, if the validation is failing, I will show one exception message. The second is the purpose field that will be having at least 10 characters. Again, if this is failing, a validation message will be showing, which you can see there are two labels that I have added here. So my test case will be checking if these two labels are showing up when the criteria are not meeting. So for that, I have opened this test case. From the left-hand side, we have this Canvas App Test Studio link. I have opened it, and here I can either manually create a test suite and a test case, or I can create the test suite and record the test inside it. So that is what I'm going to show you. I have just hit the record button, and then I will perform the steps that the actual tester or the user will be doing. Here I am submitting a new request and providing all the fields, this traveler name, destination, contact number, departure date, return date, purpose, all the fields I will be filling up, and I will be checking whether the validations that I want to show up here, whether those are coming or not. So here I have already filled a few fields, and you can see in the left hand side it is recording all the steps that I have already done, selecting the new record button and then setting the value for the this traveler name, destination, and now I'm putting the departure date and the return date. So I can see that when the return date is less than the departure date, it is showing me the validation. The same thing if my purpose field is less than 10 characters, again the error message is showing. That means my app is working fine. Now I still have one error message, and it is not allowing me to submit that. Let me fix that, and after that we'll see if I'm able to submit it. So here what I'm doing, I'm recording the happy path, how it will go. And before doing that, I'm checking if the validations are working fine. So now my test case has been recorded, and here when I come, I can see all the steps with the actions. The actions are basically the power effects formula. The for button click, it is simulated by the select statement. For every input, it is simulated by the set property. And here all the fields are hard coded. So I have the name, travel and name, everything is hard coded here, but that I don't want. What I want is these values will be coming from some table. But before that, going to that, I just want to show when I publish this test case, how it is getting automatically played. So now here I'm not doing anything, it is getting played automatically. And now let's go to the scenario where I am storing all the test data into a table. So this is my table travel request test data, and I have two test cases, and against each of the test case name, I have all the test data prepared here. So my objective is when I will be running the test cases each time of the deployment, it will be fetching data from here and will populate into all the fields. Now how we'll be doing that? If I go into this travel request test suite and click on this view button, I can see there are multiple events there. So here I have created two test cases. One is this check length of the purpose field, and second is validate date. Against each test case, I have one row, and when I will be going to see the events for which is associated with the test cases, there I will be able to see what the code I have written there. So let me just go on to that view. And yeah, so this is my first test case check length of the purpose field, and here I am in the view. And on test case start event, the first thing I'm doing, I am doing a lookup into the travel request test data table and getting everything and storing into the test data object, which I will be using for storing, means getting the data there. So to use this table, I need to first add this table as a data source in my Canvas app, which I am testing. And I can see that now I have got the data into my lookup table. And then after this data collection is done, next thing I'll be doing, I'll be changing the hard-coded values to the object value which is coming from the table. So here we can see that I'm getting the traveler name, destination, contact number, everything from this the test data table. And the most important thing where I'm doing the actual validation, this is the assert statement. So here, this assert statement, this is basically checking, it is doing an if statement. Inside this assert, I'm using an if statement. So we can add an insert step below with this assert statement, and assert is validating if the thing that I'm looking for, like the length of the purpose data card value is less than 10, whether my validation error message is showing or not. If it is not showing, that means my test case is failing. And if it is showing, then my test case will pass. So it is very important to add this assert statement after all the steps where I am populating the data to make sure I am doing the proper checking. Now to get my second test case where I am doing the validation, I have just copied that and I have added another assert one. So here the data set is different. It is coming again from the data table, test data table, and here I am adding the assert statement to check if this is coming fine, the date, this date validation. Now we have seen the on test case start event. The next event is on test case complete. When the test case is getting completed, we are collecting the test results into this TC1 result value. So what data we are collecting? We are collecting the start time, we are collecting the end time, the result, and if there is any error, that error message, everything we are collecting and formatting into this variable TC1 result. The objective is we will send this result in an email to the some predefined email ID. So you can see that the next one on test suite complete, I am sending this through Office 365 Outlook connector to a predefined email as the test case results. When this automated test will be running, after the completion, we need not do anything manually. The person who is defined here, they will be getting this result in their mail and they can decide what to do with that. Now I am going to run this test case, before that, I want to show you that if the test case fails, what will happen. So intentionally, I am making one of my validation. I'm just commenting out one of my validations. For the purpose validation field, I'm removing it and checking what will happen. Is it forcing my test case to fail or not? So here I'm just commenting this out and making this visibility false. So this validation message, it will never show up. So it will make my test case to fail. And once this is done, I am going to just save and publish my app. And after that, we'll be running the test cases. So let me just get my app published, and then I'm going to run this. So from the player itself, we can run this test case, or if I want, I can copy the play link. In the top right side, you can see there is an option for copying the play link. That play link, if I just paste it in the browser, or if I send it to someone else, they will be able to play the app using that copy play link. Now I'm testing using it during my testing time, and it has started running my first test case, which is checking the valid purpose field validation, the length of the purpose field. And in the left hand side, I can see for all the against all the steps there is a green tick. That means all the steps are getting passed. And now the next step, the important part, is coming, where we're adding the assert, and we can see that it has been failed because I intentionally made my app to fail this. And now it started the execution of the next test case validation date, and I know that it will pass because the necessary code is there. So in real life scenario, when we are moving the app from any other environment or just doing the unit testing, if we run this, we'll come to know whether all my scenarios are passing or not. So this is how we can execute, automatically play the test cases. And here is the email that I added into my in the test suite complete. It is sending the automated email with the first one, the failure message, and the second one is successful. So there is no failure message. So I am getting, as an admin, I am getting both the emails. So now let me move to the next part, which is how we can integrate this test suite link with my Power Platform pipeline. So this is my Power Platform pipeline. I have created this demo pipeline, and I have linked the two environments with it. One as the development environment and another is the target environment. And here inside the QS, this stage, I have made this pre-export step required to true. So that means before exporting my solutions to from my development environment, I have the option for extending the pipeline with a Power Automate flow, which will be executing my logic. So if you are aware of the extension of the Power Platform pipeline, you know that there are various stages. So here the action name, you can see these are the various stages that we can add and where we can execute some logic in the Power Platform pipeline. Here my stage is on deployment requested, as I have selected that pre-export step. And then I am initializing a variable with the test suite link, which I will be providing it the same link that I showed you earlier, copy link, what I did for the copy link. That link, I'm storing it inside the same solution where I have added this flow for extending. And in the solution, there can be multiple Canvas apps. So there will be one row associated with the solution name for each of the Canvas app and along with the test suite link. Now I am getting this test suite link based on the artifact name, the solution name, and then updating my variable with the test suite link so that I can create an approval action where I will be sending this test suite link to the admin, and that will allow them to run this test suite before approving this deployment to QA stage, and so that they can just approve or reject it, and they can control the movement of the solutions from one environment to another. And here you can see that I have just mentioned that a deployment has been triggered for the solution. And here inside the item link for this approval action, I'm providing the test suite link that I got from the table where I'm storing it against the Canvas app, which is inside the solution. And then finally, for this condition, if the outcome is equal to approve, then I am using this perform an unbound action. If it is it is approved, that means I'm changing the pre-export step status to 20. And if it is rejected, then I'm changing this pre-export step status to 30. So if we just look into the documentation, we will come to know what does this mean. This 20 means completing the step. If in my flow I am marking the status as 20, that means it is approved. It can move to next step. If I mark it as 30, that means I have rejected the deployment and it will not move forward. So now let's see what is going to happen when I start the deployment. So I am into one of my solution and I am just starting the pipeline. And I can see that when I click the deploy here button, it does the normal checking. It is asking me the deployment schedule. I'm doing it right now. Then it will do all the validation. And when I hit the deploy button, it will start the exporting, but I have the pre-export step required. So it will not do the export at this moment. Rather, it will trigger the Power Automate flow that I showed you right now. And let's see the running instance of the flow, what happened here. So if I say it, I will be seeing that this flow is running and it is waiting for the approval. Yeah, so we can see that it is waiting in the stage where it is requiring the approval. And if I look into my email, I can see that I have received that approval request. I have put my email as the approver, and it is telling me that your deployment has started, but you need to go to this test suite link. So the admin, once they click this test suite link, it will automatically start executing. The admin's responsibility is just clicking this test suite link. They can go away from the desk. They need not monitor this. If there are lots of test cases, it will be completed. And once it is completed, the admin will be getting the email with the consolidated result. They will be reviewing whether all the test cases has been passed or failed. And based on that, they will decide whether they're going to approve the approval task for the deployment or reject it. Now, I have seen that there is one failure, but as an admin, I am deciding to approve it. So once I hit the approve button, I will have the option for submitting and entering the comments. And you can see that this is pending. So at this moment, it is not moving forward. So I am just hitting approve, and I am not putting any comment there, rather submitting it. And once I approved it, it is moving forward. So it is currently deploying the version. So now I can show you that with this deployment, I have ingested one step in between where we have the automated testing option, and it means based on the result of that automated testing, we can decide whether to move forward or not. I have put all the summary here. I don't know whether these decks will be shared with you or not, so you can get all the steps from here. And other than that, I have documented everything in my blog. So this is the link to my blog, and this is the QR code. If you want to learn more about that, you can go here. So that's all from my side. Thank you, everyone.
Suparna, thank you so much. That was jam-packed full of awesome, powerful information around the power pipelines as well as testing, and super useful. So I'm sure that folks will want to review it. We got those links there in the chat, and we will have them in the show notes for everyone as well that is watching. So thank you very much. All right, just to continue in the effort of time, Sean is up next, and he is going to talk about how to build an auto email responder using Power Automate and Azure AI Studio. So Sean, if you'd like to take over, have a way.
Awesome. All of you can hear me and see me?
Yep, looking great.
Beautiful. So I'm going to be talking about a Power Automate flow that is the best one I've ever made because it brings my business so much value. I'm so excited to share it with you because any of you can do this right now, and it costs very little money to run. And we're going to be using AI and not AI Builder, so it's going to save us a little bit. And the best part is you're going to sound like a human. This isn't theoretical. I'm using it in my business right now. What I love about it is this flow is helping people. It's saving our staff time. And if I can get a little greedy, it's making us money. The next one is, this is all just one flow. In fact, we're going to build it all live right now. It is this right here. We zoom out. All of you are going to be able to do this. Super straightforward, but the power is in what it is giving our potential customers, or in my case, students, because that's who we teach. So what problem are we trying to solve? The problem I noticed with emails is they all sound like this person, especially with AI these days. They're all so robotic. If I'm interested in a cooking class, they usually send me an email of welcome to the cooking class, blah, blah, blah. If I don't respond to this email, I suddenly get a second email saying, hey, Sean, did you get our last email? Humans don't really do this. They don't really send 2 emails in a row, and they don't send them on the same subject as separate emails. So in this case, I'm already suspicious. I don't think that a human wrote it. And what this causes, since I don't feel like this is special, I don't feel like the recipient made it personal, I don't really want to respond to this person. So this company is potentially losing my business. And this was the problem I was trying to solve. And this is what I expect to see. I expect that when they send me an email and they want to check back on me, they're going to respond to the same thread. Now, I know some of you want to argue with me. Some of you are probably like, Sean, I send 2 emails all the time. Well, what are you talking about? On the same subject, I want to get their attention. Maybe you do. Well, in that case, do you ever do this where you start a thread and you start messaging them and then you send a brand new thread on the same topic? I don't think you're doing that. And the reason for this is unfortunately how a lot of mail platforms are built. This is MailerLite. MailChimp is the same thing, is they have some flow that looks like Power Automate. It sends an email and then it waits a day and then it checks if the person has opened the email or not. If it hasn't opened the email, it does all this stuff. So what does this turn into is this. You're getting a bunch of emails. We've all been there, and you don't believe that a human is doing this, and that's where things get ruined. So what's the solution to this? Well, what we need to do is use a little bit of Azure AI Studio, and for the sake of time, we're just going to quickly blow through how to set it up just so you get it high level, but it's super easy. All you have to do is come into Azure, type in Azure AI Services. Once you have that, just hit the Create button. Once you hit create, this is my favorite part. The pricing tier is standard 0. Do you know how much this costs? 0. All of you could be doing this right now and be leveraging AI and all the APIs they offer you. There are limits to that. And if there's time at the end, which there won't be, we can discuss those, or you can send me a chat on how you can expand your quota. But the next point is, once you have your Azure AI service, you go into the studio, and the first thing you do is you pick which type of AI model you want. Now, you have a few options here, and I think I went a little too fast. And the first one is you can choose from like ChatGPT, you could choose from Mistral, you could choose from all of those options. But here's the thing that confused me. Once you choose your language model, you can come down here to deployments and see what you've already deployed. You can also come in here and click Deploy Base Model. This is the same menu. This kind of threw me off at first. This is just 2 ways to get to the same thing. Now, some of these models are a lot cheaper than other ones. So if you're not running a lot of complex processing, pick a cheaper one. You can run a lot more operations and not worry about it. Now, once you have all this ready to go, and then you confirm it and it's running, you can come in here into the chat, and we're going to jump into the real demo here. I just wanted to show you that once you put in what your AI bot is doing, so I just typed in, you're an AI email responder, that's your identity, that's your job. And then I'm going to come over here and hit show JSON, and then right here, this text, we're going to come back to it. So hang on with me. So now what we're going to do is, if we go into our actual flow, the first thing that's happening all the way up at the top is when a new email arrives, and I want it to be looking for this subject, because I have this fake course company where we sell Power Automate and baked goods. We're solving that problem you all want. You want to learn Power Apps and how to make muffins all in one place. So that's what we're solving here. So when I receive an email from someone and that person puts in the subject of Power Platform and Baking course, I'm going to start to have AI respond to this person. And the first thing I'm going to do is, when you come in here to email body, this is key, go into here, do not select body. It's super tempting, but there's a ton of text. There's HTML, there's CSS, all kinds of things. You don't want all that. It's going to eat up your quota. Instead, you're going to come down here and select body preview. That's going to give you the key text you want. Once you have that selected, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our course details. So in our case, our overview is in Bake Automate. This Power Platform course helps participants do blah, blah, blah. What do we teach? We teach Power Apps, we teach Power BI, we blah, blah. Oh, and we also teach how to make cookies, bread dough, whatever it is. And you don't have to hard code this. You can just do this as a proof of concept. Connect it to SharePoint, connect it to Dataverse, sky's the limit, wherever your data source is. The next thing, once we have our course details, here's where the magic happens. We're going to come in here and we're going to go get our Azure API URL. How did I get that? Well, that's located up here, where if we hop into here and then we go under deployments, and then right there, here's our target URL, here is our API key. Now, I know I'm showing you all the API key. Don't worry, I'll delete it after this demo. So type in API key and make sure you select the post method. Now, here's where things get fun. Remember when I said system and text earlier from the video? That's what this is. I'm just doing the exact same thing. And in here, what I'm doing is you are an AI email responder that blah, blah, blah. Here's the syllabus for a course. I'm just going to select the same thing I did earlier. And then where things get really special is we hop down here and I said, read the following email and answer the sender's questions. Now, prompting is key here to get it right. Only the information provided for the syllabus. Do not make up any external information. We do not want them sounding like AI. Stick to the script. The next one is using only one sentence, explain why this would be beneficial. And, oh, here it is. Invite them to purchase the course. I'm giving them a call to action. I'm answering their question, and I might get them to potentially purchase or join something. Here is where things fall apart. You have to say, you must specifically mention something from their email. That's not enough. You have to give ChatGPT or whatever your language model is an example. So down here, I said, this course would be great because we cover brownies and Power BI. But you will only mention brownies and Power BI if they talked about it. It's like you're talking to a 5-year-old. So once you get all those details in here, and then at the very end, I say, here's the original email. That's the preview I sent earlier. All right, David's going to help me, but not yet. David, 1 second. So in here, I have an email where I already sent, where I said, hi, I'm curious if your program offers Dataverse and SharePoint, and you cover muffins and cupcakes, or just one or the other. All right, so I sent this, and then our response that we got back from it, if we zoom out just a little bit, we come into here, it's going to give us, well, this annoying JSON to deal with. Sorry, they're down here. And this is hard to read. So all I did was add another action here that says JSON, and then all I did was parse it. Nothing too interesting there. But what the response looks like is this. Let's compare. We sent, hi, I'm curious about your blah, blah, blah. And we put, thank you for your interest in our baking course. The course syllabus does not specifically mention Dataverse or SharePoint. So now this person might be thinking there's like a human involved. We're not trying to trick them, and we'll get to that in a second. But right now it says like it is answering their question. It is taking into account what they're asking us. And then down here, we believe this course will be beneficial for you because it combines the credit, blah, blah, blah. And then, but it is a little high level. So this is why you want to give it specific examples so that way it doesn't kind of keep things high level like this. And then it obviously at the end tries to sell them the thing. Now, all I did afterwards, and this is important, is once we get down here, what we want to do, and this is the first mistake I make, you do not want to do send an email. If you send an email, you're the same problem as all the marketing tools that spam people. What you want to do is come into here and do reply to an, where is it? Reply to an email. And down here under message ID, you want to pick the actual message ID that came with Outlook that is right here. And then you're going to be good. And then from there, once you have your message ID down here, you delete all of, you come in here under the code view. Let's get rid of this, and I'm going to come into here and then select the, where is it? The JSON response. All right, I'm going to put that in here and send it. what does this look like if we actually ran this and we got all the way to the end of it is right here where I've already ran it. Here's what it looks like. Hi, I'm curious, blah, blah, blah. At the very end, thank you for your interest in back Power Automate, but it is not regarding your beta. We cover cupcakes in depth during week 4. While muffins are not specifically detailed in the syllabus, we're answering their question. It is made this course be beneficial to you because it blah, 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 and then it shows them what it is. So this is great. Now, all of you should right now be completely doubting this because you're like, I don't want AI automatically sending me emails. I don't trust AI. It might make things up. It might get it wrong. And you're absolutely correct. So the solution is, if you were looking at closely at Suparna's demo, she was doing the same thing. If we come into here and all we do is we add an approval. We add an approval that's like, hey, here's the original email. Here's what we plan to send. So it's like, don't let people get this blindly. I want to make sure something is going on. And here's some secret sauce I'm going to give you right here that I have not put on my YouTube channel. It's just for all of you because David and Luis have been so awesome. If we come down here to the reply email, we don't just put in the output it gave. I'm going to come into here under dynamic content. And I'm going to go down to see more, and I'm going to click on response comments. Response comments is going to let me inject some personal messaging into this. David, if you can please fire me an email so all these lovely people can believe this actually works.
On its way already right now.
Cool. So while that's coming in, I'm going to hopefully we'll get a message here soon. Sometimes it takes a little while to actually appear, but I'm going to come into here and then I look at, this is generally what it looks like is course inquiry email from whoever this person is. This is just me. I'd like to learn how to make Canvas apps and I'm interested in tiramisu. Okay. And then I read what ChatGPT created and I can look at it and I can say, okay, this is good. And I can hit approve. Or I can come into here and add a little more spice and say, my favorite dish is tiramisu. I'll ask the creators to add it. Something like that. So then once I hit this and hit approve, now it's going to add that personal touch to my emails. And luckily, we're unfortunately running out of time. So David, I'm sure your message is going to come in shortly as I explain this final thing. But what the ending response ends up being is something where we get more personalized things like, and we'll be adding SharePoint soon. This is what I wrote. So now, is all of my email completely AI automated? No, and nor do I want to. But a lot of the email drafting is done for me. I just have to hit approve or hit reject. And that's been critical to our business because this baking Power Platform example, it's not trivial. I have a company and we train people to become solutions architects and we begin with email. And this is the problem we try to solve. And it's really helped people out because we can process people a lot faster if they want to join our program. Now, I'm at the 15-minute mark. So very quickly, ask not what AI can do for you, ask what AI can do for your customer. And super thank you for David and Luis in the community call for having me. And I'm done talking.
Awesome job, Sean. The email was sent. It shows it's sent, and we do have a couple minutes. Did it show that it came in, by the way?
Let me see here. Blah blah blah. Sure. From I did. Yeah. Can I show it? Do we have time?
Yeah. We've got a minute or two. Feel free so we can help close out the completion for everybody.
There we go. Course inquiry email from David. And then what do we got here? We got, does this course cover Power Apps components, how to make delicious cheesecake? Hi, David. Thanks for your email. Oh, man. I personalized it to you and wrote nothing here. Thank you for your emails. This course does cover Power Apps, including however, we delve into various baked cheesecakes is not explicitly mentioned. Bork, bork, bork. Cool. Okay. And you have a booming voice. Have you thought about podcasting? So I can throw that in here. And then now we have this personal relationship where I've read this through, but now look at this. Like 4 seconds of my time and boom. And now David might actually be purchasing my baked goods and Power Platform course, which I got to make. So there it is.
All right. Well, if you've got the cheesecake, you've got a customer. So we can. Make that happen. Awesome. Thank you, Sean. Excellent job. All right, everybody. Let's wrap this call up. Amazing presentations today by everybody involved. Stephan, Suparna, and Sean. Thank you so much for joining and sharing your passion with the community. It really is unlike any other. We would not be possible to have these calls if it were not for you all. So thank you so much. All right. If you want to continue to get collaborative with the community, we've got our Discord server. If you just want to tell your kids you're cool because you're in Discord, you can do that too. So join. We've got over 2,300 actually. We need to update that number. It's a nice one-stop shop for everybody to be able to chat with other members of the community on a variety of topics. So please don't hesitate. It is absolutely free, and we would love to see you there. We'd also love to hear some feedback from you. So if you have any feedback that you'd like to share, if the calls are going well, if you'd like to see some improvements or just some changes, or hey, you just want to let us know that you are enjoying them, we love that too. It helps management know that things are going well, and it gets us more support for these calls. The recording will be available in 24 hours or less on the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. Teams might tell you that the recording is ready. It is not. It is a pretty little liar. So don't believe it. But what you should do is go to YouTube and subscribe and tell it to let you know as soon as new videos are available. Then you will be the first to know and as soon as it drops. So you can do that at ak.ms/community/YouTube. Of course, you can also follow us on X, or the artist formerly known as Twitter, at M365PNP, and our LinkedIn community. And we'll probably end up having a spot on Blue Sky soon because, hey, why not? And the next M365 Empower Platform biweekly call, November 21st, 2 weeks from today. Next Viva Connection SharePoint Framework, you guessed it, November 14th, 1 week from today, 7 a.m. Pacific time for both of them. You can get access to all those community calls at ak.ms/community/calls. So again, thank you everybody for attending and contributing and collaborating. We are amazing. We love you for all the hard work that you're putting in. Keep it up, earn those badges, and do amazing stuff. And again, thank you to our 3 amazing presenters today. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.